Music Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
I
You
got
have a snack.
cold.
Okay, she's ready. I was trying to talk before we started recording, and she's like, wait, this can be the intro conversation part.
So, the Songwriters Awards happened here in Nashville.
Yeah, I thought it was New York.
Oh, was it? I thought it was here in Nashville.
I'm pretty sure it was New York.
But
I'm pretty sure we mentioned
is in Nashville.
Well, I'm pretty sure we mentioned it being in New York when we first talked about the Hall of Fame induction. Prestigious ceremony takes place in New York City. Historically held at Marriott Marquis Hotel.
Well, okay.
But yeah, I feel like I didn't have like a well-rounded now you're eating more.
Last two.
Okay. I didn't have a well-rounded like information of the ceremony as a whole. My algorithm obviously was feeding me all the Taylor stuff. But I guess there's some lore behind the Taylor's stuff that happened with like she got to pick which songs. I'm assuming she also got to pick who performed her songs.
I thought it was weird that Somber performed.
But Somber performed.
Because he's just like this random person that like has no connection to her.
Someone was like, in another life, this would be Conan Gray performing it. But I don't know.
But Conan's best friends with Olivia, so if there really is beef between, I don't know. But anyways, I also don't think that matters because everybody from One Direction has been best friends with Taylor, and
yeah,
anyways. But I really don't understand Somber's appeal in general. I think he's just like generic white boy that sings generic white boy songs, to be honest. So I don't really get why she's like obsessed with him all of a sudden. And why, of all people, to do this prestigious like thing, like Liz Rose was there too in the ceremony. I don't know why she didn't get to perform. I don't know why like it was odd to me. And then I know he played Dear John, and like everyone was like mad about Travis's reaction to. I was like, you guys are reading way too much into it.
But he performed Cardigan and Dear John, and I'm assuming she gets to pick which songs to like highlight her career. She also got to pick like Steven Spielberg as who presented the award to her. So
I didn't know
that was very interesting.
That was interesting too. I didn't really understand that.
I'm pretty sure you get to pick, which I feel that feels right. You get to like. It's your night to be honored. You get to pick who is helping honor you. But I saw a thing about in 2010, Taylor won the Hal David Starlight Award, which is like for like younger songwriters showing a lot of promise kind of thing. Presented to her by John Mayer.
Oh. And
then Speak Now came out that October, and obviously Dear John, and like there's all the drama of their relationship and him like dissing her songwriting, I think specifically about the song about him and all that stuff. So for her to pick Dear John to be one of the songs that's performed at this ceremony where he had previously presented an award to her is like, people are like, this is like top tier level of pettiness. I'm like,
okay, I didn't get that part of it. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I figured it's also just like, it's from an album that she wrote all by herself. It's one of like, truly, it really is a great and really well written song.
Right.
And then obviously the folklore and Evermore era, she has a lot of deep feelings for with her writing in that one as well.
Which I think we've all like come to acknowledge, like, yes, Dear John is John Mayer, but also the phrase Dear John, like a Dear John letter is a thing. And so it like is also, you can argue that it's about just Dear John, like a Dear John letter, and not about him, which I think might have been an argument at some point with like him being annoyed about the song. Is like, well, who's to say it's about you? It could just be the generic thing. But it also just showcases her songwriting with that also being another level within the song of having that be a known phrase and stuff, and using that terminology in the song as well.
Right.
But yeah, I just thought that was funny when I saw that, of the petty levelness of that. I also saw, I don't know who the guy is, Jimmy Jam?
Yeah.
they got a picture on the carpet, and for some reason he decided to like rub her side, and she goes, nope. And I think he stopped right away because there wasn't much more of the clip to like show. So I hope he like understood and stopped, and that was that, because I feel like that takes her back to the whole issue with the radio guy.
That man, though. I think he's a writer with her and stuff.
So I think they know each other and stuff. So maybe it was just like a weird thing,
apparently
and then it's like, oh, I don't know why I did that.
Too. He just like rubbed his arm too when he met him. Like maybe it's just like a tick thing that.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't like that. That was weird.
But I thought she looked great. Yeah. We were talking about how the speech was like 20 minutes long, and like how she mentioned that one of the first rates that she had with this one guy and all this
Craig Wiseman
needed was this bridge, and he was like, I don't really get the song, and it turned into Love Story, and I was like, oh.
I think it was. I think the way she phrased it wasn't necessarily that he didn't like get it or didn't believe in it. It's just it wasn't something he felt personally connected enough to like be involved with writing. Like, let's write something I can relate to more, or like that I'm more invested in. Like, I'm not feeling this idea kind of thing.
Yeah.
But not saying it's a bad idea, just more of he personally wasn't wanting to write it kind of thing.
Which also it's interesting when people bring, like, I know it's, especially with her, she's mentioned how it's a strategy of hers if she's meeting new people to, like, bring an almost finished song into a write just so, like, there's no pressure, and it's like, okay, how can we fix it? How can we make it better? Like, what ideas? Because I think there is times when, like, if you have a really strong suggestion for, like, a chorus and, like, you have most of a chorus filled out, like, it definitely helps so that we're not, like, sitting around for 20 minutes like, okay, well, what are we going to write about if you don't know these people? I think I wouldn't personally bring in, like, a whole song almost finished, because at that point it's like, why aren't you just finishing it? But also, like, I think, like, having a strong chorus is, like, really good to have, because then it's like, okay, you have a foundation, you have, like, what the song is about, like, there's no questions and, like, well, what do you mean? You know, you have, like, a very solid foundation to work off of. It's also tough when you have a lot of people that do stuff like that, but then, like, you can't decide, like, well, which idea is better kind of a situation. But I don't know if any other songwriters out there bring full ideas in, or if it's like ideas or full songs in. I'm more of a full idea person to bring in. You can have
the idea, and it's like, here's the structure. This verse is this, the chorus is this, second verse we go into this, and then the bridge we have this shift, but like the lyrics aren't actually there yet, but it's like, this is the structure, and now we need to write the actual words.
Because even Katie's brought in like a full verse and a chorus, and like, unless you're open to that completely being destroyed and rebuilt again, like, if you're like very like committed and like in love with the ideas that you already brought, and you're just looking, I mean, like, there are rights that like some people really do just want to sit and let the artist do all the things and be there just to like stick pieces in for them. And if that's the right that you want to do, like, that's the right that you can do. I think then, like, why are you, like, I wonder how many writes in a day she actually was doing and stuff like that, especially like later in her career, because it's like, if you're bringing in full ideas to people, it's like, well, how many songs are you getting done in that day? Are you doing like 8 songs because they're all almost done, or are you halfway there? Like, is that like a test the waters, and then like maybe you make a whole new song on top of that? How long are your writes? Like,
it also depends on your writing method, because like, if it's just like a guitar or a piano, like a one instrument deal acoustic thing, like, that's different than like, even if she does bring in like a fully fledged like verse chorus, something like that, it's like, if that was just guitar or piano to begin with, but then you come in with like Jack Antonoff or another producer type person, and it's like, oh, we're gonna build a whole track. So then that does take time to like build the track and fit everything into that. So that would take up more time, even if the song started with like halfway done at the start of the session. If you have to add the production part, if you're
but that's also not everybody's like thing, and even if there is like a production part to it, not everybody like does a lot with that. Like, some people just do like very basic production on top of things, but Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. So yeah, like what kinds of things do you guys bring to rights? But like yeah, so I was saying with like Katie when she brings it, sometimes it's like if you're so married to like what's already on the page, it's like
Yeah.
harder to maybe get inside. Okay, well where are they in their process? Like what are they doing? Like
Mm-hmm.
where versus like if you come in with like that, but then like you're like I really am not married to it, and then it's like okay, and then you start to kind of write, and then it rewrites itself in
Yeah.
a sense. So
Well, sometimes it's also like, I feel like a lot of times Midnight Margaritas was different because I came up with that the same day we had the co-write because it was just like on the way home and stuff. But there's other songs of mine where it's like I was really trying to write it myself and I got to a point where I was like I can't. I need another perspective. Like go to church. Like I was really trying to write that by myself. I'm
yeah,
like, Ryan, I need help. Whiskey and Sunsets was kind of that way too. So like sometimes it's like halfway done because you like write a verse and a pre and a chorus and then it's like but I don't know where to go from here kind of
right,
thing. And then you need other perspectives to figure out, okay, where are we going with the second verse and stuff. Um, and at least for Whiskey and Sunsets, I know we definitely, the first verses I think were mostly there and stayed the same, but then I had a pre that eventually became like different words, but like that ended up being the bridge and we just were like we don't need a pre, we're going to go straight in. So it did get shifted around once it was Christian and I and not just myself looking at it. So
yeah,
yeah, but yeah, all I saw was Taylor stuff really, and I think that's just my algorithm for
probably.
socials
I think it's
for
everyone's algorithm about that kind of
Taylor
things,
and
but
Travis because obviously he was there with her and then both their moms were there,
yeah,
which was sweet. So there's plenty of people taking videos of them dancing and stuff. I think Proud Mary was one of them that they were dancing to. Um, there was one where someone was taking a video, and then you see this video of that interaction, and you can see she's so zoomed in on this person's phone, and he had to like back up. I'm like, that zoom is like not even her full face, it's so zoomed in.
oh
It's like, I want to see that video because that looks so
no,
weird. What is that? Um, but yeah, I wish I knew more about the rest of the ceremony of the other people and
right,
stuff. But all I really got on my feed was Taylor stuff.
yeah,
So, but she's had quite the week, or quite a couple weeks or whatever. I've seen people being like, Swifties are being fed right now. Because she had Toy Story 5 premiere.
yeah,
She had that. She went to Nick's game. She went to the Cavs game not that long ago either.
yeah.
So she's just everywhere right now. But yeah, it's just been interesting. But yeah. Okay, so if you listen to last week's episode, you know that we're doing, or even just reading titles, you know we're doing 2 weeks of Pride episodes for Pride Month this year. And we did Tchaikovsky last week. Found out Alex and I both researched the same person. So Alex, I guess, in our little break in between recording episodes, found someone. So who do you have for us, Alex?
Got somebody. So I feel like a lot of times I am like, I know so much about these people. I assume the rest of the world does. And so I'm like, why am I going to bring up somebody like Freddie Mercury or Elton John, who also already have movies about them if you really want to know
Yeah.
about them? And so I'm like, I feel like that's too obvious. But then I played a Billy Joel song at trivia last week and no one knew it. And I was like,
Which one did you?
what? Not at yours. At a
Okay.
different one.
I was like, I don't
And
remember
I was
hearing
just
Billy
like,
Joel.
how does nobody know who Billy Joel is? And I was just like, excuse me, people, I don't understand. So hopefully this isn't too like, oh, everyone already knows these stories. But my second person in line was I was trying to think of like kind of in like a I feel like it's talked about a lot lately of like who in the industry is using beards anymore. And I think Cara Delevingne brought it up that like I really truly thought we had been like not completely removed from it, but like to the point in the last couple years that, like, if you are a gay person in music, that, like, why are we hiding it anymore? Like, even Harry Styles, people are still, like, so, like, oh my God, he has openly come out as saying he is not labeling himself, which most likely means he's not straight. Like, that would be the easy answer, to be like, and he has in interviews said, don't knock sleeping with men until you try it. He is very open in his own way. It's just not like the blunt, I am this that people expect or want from people. And I think we have a big, like, we want answers. Trust me, I'm the same way. I want an answer to things, like anything in life, right? And I think we all kind of want that sometimes. So when people are very vague about things, it frustrates us. And then we have to think about blah, 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 all this stuff, instead of just, or you just have it deep in your soul that, like, you want to be right and, like, you just don't want to accept what people are telling us sometimes, aka Taylor sometimes. Which is why I don't get into it on this podcast all the time, because, like, I don't want to be proven wrong, but B, also, like, I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, it's her fucking business. Like, that is, like, one thing I think we all need to remember, is that, like, it's not our business at the end of the day what these people do.
Right.
Anyways, so then I was thinking, well, like, beards are, like, a big thing, and I was like, and there definitely was a time in pop culture in the 1900s that, like, it was a thing to bring up people's careers as, like, you were bearded and you were married to women and, like, you weren't allowed to be anything but traditional Christian valued good little boys and girls, and that was how Hollywood and anything presented itself. And then going back to Cara, she even said that Harvey Weinstein, piece of trash that he is, was like, don't worry, we'll get you a boyfriend. Like, you can do whatever you want behind the scenes, but we'll get you a boyfriend. And that's just so strange that, like, 10 years ago, like, a man like that was still saying this kind of stuff. And so I started thinking, like, and my father-in-law, shout out Steve, was also like, you should do people that use beards to further their career. Well, I couldn't really find a good piece of reference for that. So instead, we're doing George Michael.
Okay.
Because I feel like he's a very famous case of somebody who was struggling with his sexuality and actively used people, a straight heterosexual relationship, to further his career, to hide himself, because it was, the embarrassing thing was to, like, you never know how people were going to react as somebody who came out. So, who was George Michael? As a teenager, George Michael formed the band Wham with high school friend Andrew Ridgeley. In 1984, the duo had their first worldwide hit with Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. 2 years later, Michael went solo, releasing a hit debut album, Faith, which has sold more than 25 million copies worldwide. In 1988, Michael announced that he was gay after being arrested for lewd conduct in a public restroom. Michael continued to perform, and his career had a reboot in the mid-2000s with the release of his greatest hits album, 25. He continued to tour and donated much of his time and wealth to charity. Michael died of heart and liver disease on December 25th, 2016, in his home in England, and died at the age of 53. So going back, his early life in Wham. George Michael was born June 25th, 1963, in East Finchley, London, England. One of the leading artists in popular music in the 1980s and 90s, he grew up in and around London, where he developed his passion for music at an early age. While in high school, Michael befriended Andrew Ridgeley, with whom he would share a love of pop music, and they began playing music together. By some reports, Michael and Ridgeley were an unlikely duo. Michael was pudgy and shy, while Ridgeley was attractive and outgoing. Dropping out of high school, Michael and Ridgeley started a short-lived ska band called The Executive. The band only played a few gigs before it fell apart, but the two soon found success. In 1982, they landed a recording contract with Inner Vision Records and became known as Wham. Their first album, Fantastic, was released in the United Kingdom in 1982 and climbed as high as the number 4 spot on the charts. There, it was released in the US the following year. With their youthful good looks, Wham soon developed a devoted following among teenage girls. With their catchy Motown-influenced sound, Wham lived up to the title of their second album, Make It Big, in 1984. They scored their first number 1 hit in the United States with Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, the up-tempo hit Everything She Wants, and the ballad Careless Whisper also reached the top of the U.S. charts.
I just think of Friends.
I think Deadpool was so much of this stuff because it's from
I just think of the meme that people just put whatever vinyl they want in Chandler's arms, but like how he's like listening and singing and then Phoebe comes in.
Yeah, but isn't that a Stevie Wonder song that he's singing?
Is it?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have like a... I thought he sings Careless Whisper at some point. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think they reference it, but that's
okay.
He's singing a Stevie Wonder song.
I'm just thinking the wrong scene, but they do reference it. Okay.
Yeah. Careless Whisper also reached the top of the U.S. charts. In 1984, Michael also performed with the charity Band-Aid on the holiday single Do They Know It's Christmas to benefit Ethiopian famine relief. Michael and Ridley also donated the proceeds of their hit holiday single Last Christmas / Everything She Wants to Band-Aid's charitable efforts. A year later, on April 7th, 1985, Wham! Made history as the first Western pop group to perform in China. On July 13th, 1985, Wham! Performed to raise funds for Ethiopian famine again at Live Aid, and it was there that Michael and Elton John sang John's classic Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me at Wembley Stadium in London.
Never realized how big Wembley was until I saw all the clips of Harry Styles and Shania at Wembley, and I was like, this is so many people. I've been seeing a lot of Shania, and people have been tagging Lindsay L too, since she's playing in her band, so repost that stuff.
As the lead vocalist and main songwriter, Michael emerged as the star of the group. It was not long before he broke out on his own. He left after the group's 1986 recording, Music from the Edge of Heaven. While it was not as big as a hit as their earlier efforts, the album still had several popular singles, including Where Did Your Heart Go and I'm Your Man. As a solo artist, Michael earned his first Grammy Award for a duet with soul icon Aretha Franklin. Their single I Knew You Were Waiting won Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal in 1987. That same year, he made an impressive debut with Faith in 1987. Trying to shed his teen heartthrob image, he went for an edgier look, often sporting a leather jacket and a few days' worth of stubble. Musically, he took a funkier direction as well with the album. Driven in part by the #1 title track, the recording reached the top of the album charts. Other hits included Father Figure, Monkey, and One More Try. Michael also courted controversy with another track on the album, I Want Your Sex. Some radio stations in the United States refused to play it because of its explicit content, while others would only play it late at night for the same reason. Despite the censorship, Faith went on to sell more than 25 million copies worldwide and won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year in 1988. Continuing his musical evolution, Michael incorporated soulful and jazz elements into his songs on Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1 in 1990. The album featured a few hits, including Praying for Time, further distancing himself from his pop image. He chose not to star in the video for Freedom 90. Instead, the video featured such models as Naomi Campbell, Christy Turlington, and Cindy Crawford. Which I find interesting that I feel like his solo stuff, though, I sing Faith all the time, and, like, it feels like a Wham. Like, and I'm sure, obviously, because he was the main songwriter in Wham, like, his solo stuff versus his, like, non-solo stuff as a band feels very much one and the same, which is probably why he had so much success, because when you think of, like, other people that have, like, broken out from bands like that, they sound so different that it's like fans don't always like connect with it as much. I think like I think even like Freddie Mercury's stuff, like it didn't hit the same peak as Queen's stuff did, because it just like was missing some elements. But like when you are the element, like it continues so seamlessly. I mean like.
No, because Freddie is the lead singer, so I guess that argument doesn't make sense. But I think of like I think Tyler Hubbard did better solo than Brian Kelly, because Tyler Hubbard was the main voice of Florida Georgia Line, so listeners were already familiar with the voice. Yeah. Which it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see how Maddie does of Maddie and Tay, because I have seen her on a couple lineups as Maddie Font now, since she's starting to do solo stuff. So her being the main voice of Maddie and Tay, I'm interested to see if she'll have a similar thing as Tyler going solo or not.
I think it'll be just, again, who, like, what's, because Florida Georgia Line, too, they also, like, had differences in how they wrote songs. Mm-hmm. So it's, like, I think Tyler was, like, the one that had more of, like, the kind of hit ideas, in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why, whereas, like, so I think it'll be interesting without their dynamic of songwriting together. You know, how her songs sound.
I can't remember his name. She's on a duet already with someone, and I saw like a post about like when you write a song to fit with like Maddie and Tay, so you get Maddie to sing on or something like that, and like it's definitely fits still like the Maddie and Tay vibe, and I don't know if it's just because it's Maddie's voice, but I've seen her a couple lineups and stuff, and I think Anna either just played Bluebird with her or they're playing the listening room or something. I feel like I've seen a lineup where it was like Anna Voss and Maddie are also playing because they write together and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how her career does solo. I'm rooting for her
for sure.
She seems like she's all obviously like super talented and stuff, but she seems like a nice person as well. So
okay. While Listening Without Prejudice Volume 1 received some positive reviews, the album only sold about 1 million copies. Michael became involved in a legal battle with his recording company, Sony, feeling that they have failed to properly promote the record. He wanted to end his recording contract. The conflict dragged on for several years, during which time Michael recorded only a few singles. In 1991, Michael reprised Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, his duet with Elton John, for charity. It became a #1 hit, with the proceeds going to London Lighthouse and AIDS Hospice and the Rainbow Trust Children's Charity. Later that year, Michael's hit the charts with Too Funky, a track featured on Red Hot and Dance on AIDS charity album, which he already is doing. Well, I guess at this time we're not into like that whole aspect of it, but I think he might have at least been in like a relationship with a man at that time. So finally free from his contract with Sony, Michael released the album Older in 1996. 2 tracks, Jesus to a Child and Fast Love, broke into the top 10 in the United States, as did the album. Still, the sales for the recording paled in comparison to his earlier efforts, with some attributing this decline to Michael's time away from the pop music scene. Michael did win several accolades for his work, however, taking home the award for Best British Male at the Brit Awards and the MTV Europe Awards that year. In 1998, Michael made headlines, though, this time not for his music. He was arrested for lewd conduct in a men's bathroom at a public park in Los Angeles, California. After the incident, Michael made a television appearance in which he acknowledged that he was homosexual. There had been some speculation about his sexual orientation over the years, but this was his first public statement on the matter. Okay, so it did come a little later then. Okay. His next musical effort was a collection of covers, songs from the last century, in 1999. While it received some positive reviews, album sales lagged, and it was his lowest charting album in the United Kingdom. Michael recorded several songs over the next few years, including a 2000 duet with Whitney Houston on the song If I Told You That. Michael released his 4th solo album, Patience, in 2004. Instead of the pop charts, he found success on the dance charts. Flawless and Amazing both scored well with dance music fans. After this record, Michael made comments about giving up the music business, but his rumored retirement would prove to be short-lived. A Different Story, a documentary about Michael's life and career, was released in 2005. In February 2006, Michael had another encounter with the law and was arrested for suspicion of illegal drugs in London, according to a report in Rolling Stone magazine. The singer said in a statement that it's my own stupid fault, as usual. A few months later, Michael announced that he was going on tour for the first time in 15 years. He also released a collection of his songs entitled 25 in the United Kingdom. The work, which included some new material, was a celebration of Michael's 25 years in music. Resurrecting his career in the United States in 2008, Michael made several appearances, released 25 stateside, and guest starred on the television series Ellie Stone as a musical guardian angel of sorts. The show also featured some of his classic hits. He went on to perform on the series finale of the popular musical competition show American Idol before embarking on a national tour in the summer of 2008. In April 2011, Michael released a cover of Stevie Wonder's 1972 song You and I as a gift to Prince William and Kate Middleton prior to the couple's wedding. Oh. In August of that year, the singer-songwriter began performing as part of his symphonic tour, which ended early after Michael fell ill with pneumonia a few months into the series. The following year, Michael performed Freedom 90 and White Light at the closing ceremony of the 2012 Summer Olympics held in London. In May 2013, a 49-year-old Michael was airlifted to a medical facility in London, England, after being involved in an accident on the M1 motorway near St. Albans. Michael had reportedly been found at the scene of the accident by paramedics and had not been seriously injured. In his personal life, Michael was in a 13-year relationship with Kenny Goss that ended in 2009. Michael began a relationship with celebrity hairstylist Fatty Fawaz that year until the pop icon's untimely death in 2016. The time of his death, Michael was working on Freedom, a second documentary about his life, which was released in 2017. And then he died on December 25th, 2016, at the age of 53.
Christmas.
An autopsy later revealed that the pop star had died from natural causes related to heart and liver disease. Going back to his 1998 arrest for being where he publicly came out as gay, the media sensationalized coverage of the arrest, which culminated in a forced outing, was a low point in his personal life. Instead of allowing this to demoralize him, however, Michael harnessed his experience and transmuted it into an act of defiance, audacity, and freedom, the evidence of which is clearly seen in the 1998 single Outside. Outside, released just a few months after his arrest, showcased Michael's unique brand of bravery and wit. The music video features scenes that blatantly mock the circumstances of his arrest, featuring bathroom stalls transformed into disco booths and police officers dancing provocatively. The lyrics include the lines, "I'd service the community, but I already have you see. I'd service the community, but I already have, you see." His bold and humorous response was a clear message of his detractors. He refused to be ashamed or silenced. The song's significance goes far beyond the clever lyrics and catchy tune. At its core, Outside is a celebration of freedom and authenticity. It is an anthem for those who, like Michael, have felt the pressure of hiding their true selves from the world. It reminds listeners that there is a place for them outside of societal norms and expectations, where they can exist freely and authentically. The resonance of this message with the gay community cannot be overstated. For many in the LGBTQ+ community, living in a heteronormative society often entails a constant negotiation of selfhood. George Michael's Outside became an anthem for those navigating this challenging path. And then, following the public scandal and subsequent release of Outside, George Michael sought to address his personal situation directly and in so make a broader societal impact. In 1998, interview with Jim Moret on CNN was a remarkable testament to his courage and commitment to championing the cause of acceptance and understanding for the LGBTQ+ community. In this groundbreaking conversation, Michael opened up about his arrest, his sexuality, and social pressure that compelled him to hide his true self. Remarkably, he spoke with candor and grace, refusing to bow to societal prejudice, and allowed the incidents to eclipse his personal life and professional identity. He related his personal struggles, explaining that for many years he lived in fear, keeping his sexuality hidden to protect his career. So that was George Michael, everybody.
Yay.
But yeah, no, he was somebody who definitely, was... I know it was, he and, you know who would have been so good? Okay, remind me next year to say Liberace and do his whole story.
Okay.
He would have been so good.
Okay.
But he was another one that, people were always, speculating. And then, turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any fun facts about George Michael? Is there anything we missed that you think we should have touched on? Any of that, then you can send it to us at themusiclenspodcast@gmail.com, or just drop a comment in the YouTube video or on our socials, where you can follow us at the Music Lens Podcast. You can follow Alex at Alex Laker Music, and you can follow me at Katie Fee Music, and go pre-save my song, because at this point it is announced. It's out July 3rd. It's called Nothing Right. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.